What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dose Leprechauns podcast. I'm Jason. This is Nate. We're your host, and it's Pitt week. Last big hurdle for the Irish, and it is a big hurdle. Seen a lot of wild predictions out there from some of you guys, 44-13, 34-17. The Irish are sitting at a 12.5-point favorite, so Vegas has us winning by 12.5. I have us winning an absolute squeaker. 1 to 3 points is my margin of victory. I think it's going to be a very close game. I just think Pitt's defense is going to be the best we've faced since probably A&M. I think that they are very fast, tough, physical, and they're going to give our O-line some problems to start with. So I unfortunately expect the Irish to probably come out a little bit slower than most of us would like. So we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we win. I don't think it's going to be as close as you think. I'm kind of teetering between like 38-23 or 38-20, somewhere in that range. I think, like you said, this is the last biggest test before, the games that matter, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a big test, probably the biggest test since Arkansas, I'd say. At USC was good, but I think Arkansas's offense was probably the second best offense we'll see all year, and Pitt's is probably the best we're going to see all year.
Yeah, and then Mason Heinschel, obviously the quarterback for Pitt, freshman, came in after they lost to West Virginia. He's good, man. He's a true freshman, just like CJ Carr, actually a different CJ Carr, but he's completing 64.1% of his passes. He's got 12 touchdowns and 5 picks, and the one thing that he's definitely susceptible to is the sack. Yeah. He's gotten sacked 16 times, so not very mobile. But he's a gunslinger. He's going to go out there and throw it around, and I think that's going to be a big test for Christian Gray, especially. I really think that they'll probably look to target him to start with and see what he can do. I'd like to see, hopefully, Tay come over with some help over the top and contain the Pitt receivers, who actually I think are pretty good. They also have a really, really good running back. You'll see number 0, Desmond Reed. He's got 966 yards, 5 touchdowns this year. He's averaging 5.3 yards a carry. He's a very good running back. I think if you didn't have Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in this game, you'd be hearing a lot about Desmond Reed. So what else you got on their offense, Nate?
Yeah, I think I really want to pinpoint Raphael Williams Jr. He's probably their second best receiver. He's returning from last year. And that was one of the bigger impacts in last year's game was Raphael Williams. So, the Irish are going to have to be on their P's and Q's against him. Like you said about Heinschel, or however you say his name, he's a good quarterback. He is a little cement-footed, and he doesn't look to run. So I think that's where Notre Dame has the advantage, because you don't have to associate KVA or Drake Bowen specifically to spying him like you have in the past, 5 weeks with Boston College and
Navy,
even SC with Mayava. So I think that's where Notre Dame has an advantage because KVA and or Drake Bowen off the edge is unstoppable.
It is.
So a lot went into, the talk of this game. Like, it's at the Steelers stadium, AccuSure, whatever it's called. AccuSure.
It's still Heinz Field to me.
Yeah, it's Heinz Field. But anyways, like, that field's a dump.
Yeah.
And that favors Notre Dame because
I think so too.
Run the ball, and then run the ball again. So,
yeah, we got it. Desmond Reed can still run it though. That kid's good.
Oh, he's not Jeremiah Love.
Well, obviously, he's not even Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of the comments here. Amber Sullivan, happy birthday, Amber. Hope the Irish bring home a victory for you today. I only want you to beat their ass. All right, I like it. Jim Wolf says he believes. Stacey York, go Irish. Jim Wolf thinks CJ Carr will have his best game today. I like that. Frank McGrath, let's get his preview up here. He said, I think we'll be up 28-10 at halftime and go on to win 45-17. Go Irish. I think it'll be much closer than that at halftime. I'm actually thinking the first half will probably be a little bit of a defensive back and forth. I hope CJ Carr has his best game, but I am a little bit concerned about their linebacker, their D-line, playing with their hair on fire to start with, and maybe forcing a couple sacks, maybe forcing a couple of bad throws from CJ. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just from what I've seen on tape. Their D-line can definitely get after it. So a little concern there, but I think that the Irish will get into a rhythm and start to come alive. But I'm just going to say I do hope that it's both teams come out a little bit slow on offense.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be kind of a feeling out process at 1st.
Mhm.
I don't think Pitt or Notre Dame are going to take chances early on because both teams have a lot at stake in this game. Pitt's fighting for a ACC title bid, and Notre Dame obviously is 3 wins away from being in the exact same spot they were last year.
Yeah.
So it's a really big test for both teams. One thing I did want to point out, and I really like Jim Wolf saying CJ will have his best game. Pitt is 96th in the country in allowing offensive passing yards. They allow about 240 yards a game, but they are really good at defending the run. They're 3rd in the country overall. They allow 80 yards per game. They get about a takeaway a game, but they also turn the ball over about 2 times a game. So it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, Notre Dame hasn't had a game where their defense has said, "Okay, we're gonna go win this game for you guys," and that's today. I think the defense has been really good since the second half of the Purdue game.
Yeah, literally.
And I think the defense comes to show, okay, this is the same defense that millions and millions of people last year saw on a grand stage dominate, SEC and Penn State teams. So yeah, I'm looking for a big day from the defense, especially because Pitt allowed Stanford to score 20 points, and Stanford's ran through 3 different quarterbacks this year. So
when did they play that game? That wasn't that early on.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, good. That's right. What they lost to West Virginia early on before the quarterback switch. But yeah, giving up 20 to Stanford is obviously gives me a lot more hope because Stanford is really bad this year. I like Ricky Spanish says. I think that says bros. What am I missing here? When did Pitt become relevant? Only because they're playing Notre Dame. Now they're a team to be reckoned with, according to ESPN. These analysts are giving me a reason to go to confession today after the game. Run the score up on these clowns, please. I hope we run the score up on them. We need to run the score up on them. But I just think that their defense is going to give us some fits right off the bat.
I think this is Pitt's becoming relevant only because they're playing Notre Dame. I think if Pitt was playing any other team in the country, this wouldn't be a college game day game.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't even think Pitt would be ranked because you look at their schedule and there's really no impressive win on here. There's more lackluster losses than impressive wins. They've lost to West Virginia on the road, and they lost to Louisville at home.
And Louisville just got beat by Clemson, who is pretty bad this year.
They beat Syracuse by 17, and that was after Steve Angeli went out. That was a week after. They beat NC State by 19, and then, like we said, they beat Stanford by 15. So really, there's really no big wins. The biggest is they beat Boston College by 41. That was, I believe, the first week of Heinzel.
Patrick Gunnion says, longtime Irish fan with a daughter who is a student at Pitt, so this one hits close to home. Yeah, that's got to be a little bit conflicting that your money is going to Pitt and Notre Dame because of the stuff you buy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But I think that, like I said, that the Irish will find a way to win. One interesting stat that I was looking up the other day as we were getting ready for the show, Pitt commits a lot of penalties. They average 69 yards in penalties a game, which is pretty significant. So that'll be something to keep an eye on too. They aren't as disciplined as the Irish. Their opponents average 80 yards on penalties a game. We will probably have an ACC officials crew, so let's hope that Bavakwa reminded them who brings in the money to the ACC, even though they're not in the ACC and never should be. Yep. Jim Wolf, this is a good stat right here from Jim Wolf. He says this is the 41st game day appearance, I'm assuming, for Notre Dame, which is probably, but aside from maybe Bama and Ohio State's probably got to be up there amongst the highest. So for sure, that they've been featured on College Game Day. It's funny. Just that kind of leads me to the elephant in the room this week, so to speak, and that's where the hell did these Texas Tech fans come from? I really hope all of my stalkers from Texas Tech on Twitter that I've been going out at it with all week on X are watching this because you guys are clowns, man. Like these guys, I posted something about Texas Tech's coach. And he didn't straight up say Notre Dame, but he talks about year, and all of a sudden they're in the conversation college football.
Yeah.
They have a good defense, very good defense. They have a good offense, but they're still Texas Tech. And next year next year there will be another pretender. Last year it was Penn State. This year it's Texas Tech. Who knows who will be next year? But these fans just coming unglued because they are having some success this year is just really hilarious to me.
It's really weird, honestly. It's like, I mean, congrats for beating BYU at home.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, their biggest win is BYU. Like, BYU, people we talked about this last week. BYU and Utah every single year are overranked. They're overrated. They're ranked way too high every single year. And it gets proven time and time again when they lose an underwhelming game. It happens every year.
Yeah.
And people like to point the finger at Notre Dame and like, oh, well, they're overrated. They lose to A&M, Miami, whatever. But then it's like you look at Utah and they're like, oh, they're undefeated come week 12. And then they lose to West Virginia or Texas Tech or somebody random. It's stupid. It's a stupid fan base, and no offense, but yeah, I don't know.
It's the Pitt does have a lot of young guys playing too. So going back to Pitt, sorry, I'm done talking about Texas Tech. They got their 30 seconds of fame. Pitt has a lot of defense or a lot of youthful exuberance, I guess you could say. So you'll see a lot of young guys out there that'll probably be playing with their hair on fire, but will eventually make some mistakes, I think. Pat Narduzzi is just a very unlikable guy. Every time I hear him talk, I like him. I dislike him more. He's got this arrogant kind of pompous prick attitude. It's surprising to me that he goes into these parents' kitchens and dining rooms and convinces their kids to come to Pitt. It's freezing cold in the winters, and they don't have the allure of a Notre Dame or some of these other big Midwest schools that can get people out in the freaking freezing cold. But yeah, he's just a smug prick. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Going back to Pitt's defense again, they gave up 111 yards and a touchdown to North Carolina State's running back that we handled, Hollywood Smothers. So they are susceptible at times. CJ Carr, again, their pass defense isn't as good as their run defense, but they do have some pretty decent corners. I think the Irish defensive line, haven't heard anything about Heinisch. We keep checking on that. Gabe Rubio's out. Heinisch is out. Bubakar will be playing today. A lot of people were asking where he was last week, and the simple answer to that, I think it was kind of even answered by Coach Washington, is that he wasn't a good fit for that game plan against Navy, so they rested him because he was still a little banged up. Bubakar will be out there today, and I fully expect him to go absolutely bonkers on defense today.
Well, I don't know if anybody watched the film, but there was no reason to play him.
Absolutely not.
Navy chop blocks, and that would have been horrible if it would have hurt Bubakar. So it was smart not to play him last week. You really don't gain anything from him playing the triple option except for, him staying home or, fighting the run and then not making a tackle. So it just wasn't his game.
Yeah. And I expect him to have a big game. KVA has become just an absolute phenom out there. I think he's going to have a big game today too. Drake Bowen's going to need to tackle well because their running backs can shed tackles. So we need Drake to have another big game. Brett Boyson says, let's effing go Irish, dominate both sides of the ball, clean up the pre-snap penalties, and play Irish football, RTDB, which if you're new here, that means run the damn ball. We are big fans of running the football, but we also love CJ Carr. Steve Franchi says, wonder how his players feel about his comments earlier this week. Game doesn't matter. Who says that? I don't think he actually said the game doesn't matter. I think he did say that, there's Jerome Bettis is on with Tony Dorsett. Wow, two of the greatest running backs of all time on the same field right now. Anyways, he said that, they could put up 100 on us. And, so I think that's conjecture. I think he's saying some things to try to, maybe act like they're not taking it that seriously. But I can assure you that Marcus Freeman has had his team saying, hey, this is the most dangerous team you've played all year. This is a team that wants to take you out. This is a team that wants to end our season. So, Marcus Freeman is not playing around. He's going to go out there, have these guys intense and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Let's see. Steve Franchi says KVA should not come off the field. I agree with that. I think you rotate him in at Rover, you rotate him in at Mike, at Will, wherever you need to. Keep him on the field at all times. He's an absolute savage, and he's the best linebacker I've seen in Notre Dame probably since Jalen Smith. I think you said that last week.
Yeah. And
I think when it's all said and done, I think he has the talent to be on the level of Manti Te'o. Jalen, you can say Jalen Smith too, but I think that him and Manti play a little bit more similarly. Well, I don't know. He plays like both of them. He's like a good hybrid of both those guys, and that's huge praise because we're, huge fans of those two guys. Let's see. Love the white Indy hat, wearing the Dos Leprechauns shirt for good luck today from Brett. That's awesome. Hopefully it is good luck. This is actually that gray and green Notre Dame baseball hat that I got a few years ago, but still repping. It's all good. Let's see what else we got here. Go Irish from Seminole, Oklahoma. That's from Todd Streeter. Thanks for joining us. I got about 15 minutes. When Dos Leprechauns pick their offensive and defensive player, everyone's favorite segment, we're going to get some we're going to be working on, I want to let you guys know too, we're going to be working on some cool production pieces here in the near future to really continue to try to improve the quality of the show. So look forward to that here coming soon. But I'll let you go first on offense.
Ooh, putting me on the spot. All right. I'm going to go Faison. He seems to be
good pick.
CJ Carr's first read every single time. And if it's not him, it's Malachi Fields. I think Faison has a big game. He gets out to him early, his little safety valve. And, Faison, a.k.a. Keenan Allen, kind of tears it up today. So that's my offensive pick.
Faison on offense for Nate. I'm going to say I'm just going to go with the layup and say Jeremiah Love. I think he's the kind of guy that thrives on establishing himself and making himself continue to be in the conversation. And I think that he's feeling hungry and starting to sniff the fact that he might get an invite to New York. And I think he just is committed to getting this team where we want to go, which is the promised land of another national championship game. So I'm going to say Jeremiah Love on offense. I'll give you my defensive player of the game is going to be Boubacar. I really expect him to just go his hair on fire from start to finish. I'd like to see him get more snaps this week. I know he's been on a snap count from time to time, but I'd like to see him just play as much as humanly possible out there today and just cause havoc in the backfield the entire game.
I'm going to pick two players just in case one doesn't play. The first one, Donovan Heinisch, I think coming back to Pittsburgh where he's from, if he does play, then he's going to have a big game. If he doesn't play, I'm just going to go with the automatic and pick KVA.
That's another layup, just like Jeremiah Love. On the Heinisch pick, I really think it's going to take a lot for him not to play. He's in concussion protocol, so I think it's just a matter of if the doctors are going to clear him. He was walking around pretty good, some pregame stuff that I saw, so we'll see. I haven't seen if he's dressed out or not. But yeah, Heinisch is a Pennsylvania kid, just like his brother. Tough guys. There's obviously people who want to complain all the time. They're small, but he plays with more heart than anybody on that team, other than maybe Cole Mullins. So,
where is Cole Mullins?
Cole Mullins, where are you? We wanted to see you last week, and I even said you were going to be the player of the game on defense, and then you didn't play. I'm very disappointed in you, Al Washington.
He's probably watching the game in the locker or this podcast in the locker room right now.
Cole, where are you? We want to see you out there, buddy. Just looking real quick to see if we see anything on Heinisch. I just see him walking around. Nothing other than that. Hey, there's Marcus Freeman's wife, Joanna, was with him in the front of the bus today. There was some video of it. I don't remember ever seeing her make the trip from the team hotel to the game with the team like that. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Me either. I've seen them on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's true.
Times at the end of games, but
see, Brett Boyson's calling his shot 42-20. Indy will cover the spread. I'm going on record as saying we will not cover the spread. I think it's going to be a very close game. Pretty much everybody disagrees with me. I hope I'm wrong as usual. So, yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Adam Friend says this is an Arkansas rematch. Indy will roll. Book it. Go Irish. Respectfully, my friend, no pun intended on your name, I have to disagree. This is definitely not an Arkansas. These guys, their defense is way better than Arkansas's was. Arkansas's defense was a freaking joke. I will say Pittsburgh has, they had quite a few guys on the injury report. So I'm not sure if how accurate that is and how many of those guys are actually out. But they do have some guys on the injury report on defense. So we'll see. It's all going to come down to the basics. Don't turn the ball over, limit pre-snap penalties, let CJ Carr keep them honest by, throwing some deep balls and making those connections to Malachi and Faison, and then let Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price do their thing. So that's what I'm looking for. Going with the all whites today. If you haven't heard yet, going all whites. Nate posted that earlier. I personally love that look. How do you feel about the all whites?
I love it. It's a hot take, but it's my favorite look.
Wow, that is very hot. That's white hot, if you will.
But yeah, it's my favorite look by far. I wish we wore it at home once in a while.
Yeah,
a whiteout game. Shout out Penn State.
Oh, shout out Penn State. By the way, to everybody here that James Franklin apparently is a front runner for the Vautech job. I think that's adorable. But, oh well. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump off, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back hopefully for a post-game celebration in about 3.5 hours. You guys enjoy the game. Get loud. Go Irish. Beat Pitt.